Welcome to What's Cookin' at Camposasso. We are Rebecca and Pierre, and we live between Florence and Chianti Classico with our two sons, Julian and Oliver, and our Australian Shepherd, Frisbee. We met each other while Rebecca, was guiding a Tuscan wine tour, and Pierre was visiting as a winemaker from France. Fast forward 15 years, we now run Grape tours together, opened Formaggioteca Terroir, a cheese and wine bar in Florence, and recently we finished renovating our farmhouse Camposasso, where we make olive oil, wine, and aged cheese. We love good wine and food, so we're inviting some of our favorite foodies to cook here at Camposasso to share a recipe and tell their stories. Frisbee, who's coming? Who's coming today? Who's coming? Huh? Ciao Barbara! Benvenuta. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mwah. Mwah. So nice to see you. Frisbee, always the first. Oh, welcome, Barbara. Thank you. Well, first I have a little surprise for you. A little special welcome. Try to knock on it and see what happens.
Ciao, Baba.
Ciao, Pierre.
A glass of wine, maybe?
Yes, I would love a glass of wine. Grazie, Pierre.
A red wine from Tuscany. Cheers.
Cheers. And welcome again.
Thank you.
You can have this back. We'll drink more of that later.
Okay.
Ciao. We'll
Ciao.
see ya. Come on in.
My name is Barbara. I studied food and I studied also wine in England, in London, also in Italy. And I have a huge, big passion for this industry, so I decided to open Giabar. But what accompanies me during my days is also Alice in Wonderland, because if you come to visit me at Giabar, on the wine labels you'll see "Drink me." On the food you will see "Eat me." Because I adore Alice, the vision that she has about life. She has a lot of curiosity, the negative and the positive put together. So for me also, when I do my dishes, you have to feel that part in the dish. So the contrast about everything that you can feel or live during your life.
Welcome inside my cheese cellar at Camposasso. I'm Pierre, and I was born on a sheep farm in France, where the famous French blue cheese, Roquefort, is made. After many years of being a winemaker in France, I'm now dedicated to the complex art of selecting, maturing, and refining cheese. Because of the special conditions in our cheese cellar concerning humidity, temperature, and ventilation, I can bring cheeses to their perfect maturation. Then, I bring them to the Formaggioteca Terroir in Florence, where you can taste them.
I met Pierre 15 years ago in London. We were studying at the Master of Wine. I had the joy of spending a year with him, managing to learn a little bit more about what he does in his life. And then after that year, we actually met again in Italy, where I met also Rebecca, and we are continuing this lovely and amazing friendship.
Special cheese cellar for blue cheeses here. For me, this is very important. The Roquefort. So Roquefort, you know, is a blue cheese from sheep milk, made from a century almost, you know, in France, from 1925. It was the first appellation in France, so protected by the French government. And the idea was to make the cheese only in the caves of the village of Roquefort.
Okay, so we're gonna make meatballs. Yay, polpette in Italian, right?
Sì. Esatto. So the bread.
Do you do this recipe at your restaurant as well?
Yes, sometimes I do it. Not during the summertime, but during the wintertime because everybody likes it.
Yeah.
And also because it has, you're able to reuse the bread. As you know that in Tuscany, that's what we tend to do quite a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Since our bread is without salt.
So this is your own recipe, yeah?
This is my own recipe.
Do you usually use Roquefort for your recipe, or could you use any kind of blue cheese?
Any kind of blue cheese is fine. Also Gorgonzola.
Yeah. I love Gorgonzola.
I love Gorgonzola as well. I prefer the more sweet version of the Gorgonzola versus the picante.
Yeah.
But you can also use Stilton as well.
Oh, I love Stilton too. Wow. I think we love blue cheese. When did you realize that you love food and wine?
I actually, when I was small, my mom gave me a recipe, a chocolate cake recipe, and that was the only one I knew how to cook. And I was probably about 9 years old when that happened. So I started off cooking only desserts. So everybody knew me for my tiramisu. So every dinner it was just like, Barbara, can you make tiramisu? Can you make tiramisu?
Oh, had I known, I would have asked you.
So that was always a passion of the weekend. Wine was actually a sort of a mistake because I decided to study for the sommelier course, not knowing about wine, and it was just a joke for me. And then suddenly it was just like I got so passionate about it, and that I started working for a winery in Gaiole in Chianti. And then from there, I started going back and forth between food and wine, and then I decided to study at the Cordon Bleu as well.
So you are the chef and one of the owners, because there's somebody else, right?
Yes.
Tell us about this situation.
So the other person is my boyfriend. We met, I think, no, we met many years ago. Probably it was more than 10 years ago. So at the time, I was living in Impruneta. I actually had another boyfriend. Oops. So things, of course, didn't, ended with my ex-boyfriend in a nice way because we are still friends. Then I moved to Fiorale for 2 years. And practically I bought some cheese from him. And then
so he's the cheese guy in your life.
In my life, he's my cheese guy, yeah. Just like,
it's good to have cheese guys.
Yeah. And then I had to pay a bill, and I asked him, can I have to, pay the cheese? And then he said, well, we can go on a date if you want. And then
that is so cute.
So our actually first appointment was where we opened Giabar. That was our first date.
Really?
Yeah.
In the same place?
In the same place.
Wow. That's something, isn't it? And you got back to it 8 years later, if I get it right. Seven years later. And now it's your restaurant.
Yeah.
Awesome. Your restaurant is in Greve in Chianti, which is very close to us, and we love to come there because you have a great selection of cheese and wine. Not that we need much more cheese and wine, but it's different, which is great. The name of the restaurant is Giabar, right?
Correct, exactly.
So can you explain
why the name?
Yeah.
So it's the two owners, which are also the two boyfriend and girlfriend. So Giacomo, Gia, and Barbara for Bar. Unfortunately, the issue is that a lot of people see the name bar and they always think that I'm a bar where you can consume coffee. So I do have a coffee machine, which is with the capsules, but I don't have George Clooney available.
We have to call him. Use a fine grater to grate the Parmesan cheese. Peel and finely chop the shallot. Also chop a handful of parsley leaves. Take a few slices of day-old bread and cut the bread into small pieces. Place the bread pieces in a bowl and pour enough milk over them to cover them. Let the bread soak for about 5 minutes. After soaking, use your hands to squeeze out any excess milk from the bread. You want the bread to be moist. In the mixing bowl with the bread, add the grated Parmesan cheese, chopped shallot, and parsley. Add salt, pepper, garlic powder, and finally the egg. Use your hands to mix all the ingredients thoroughly until well combined. The mixture should be slightly sticky. Start forming balls and place them on a tray. So you're going to come and be the chef for our guests here at Camposasso, which I'm really excited for.
Even I am.
How does it work? Do you decide the recipes according to the season?
According to the season, and then of course if there is any dietary restrictions, if anybody has any allergies. I know which recipes tend to go a little bit more, so I know that everybody loves to make either tiramisu or panna cotta.
Yes, and eat them.
Eat them as well.
I can be your assistant.
Assistant, look, you're very good at it.
I don't know, mine are smaller than yours.
That's fine. They're handmade.
That is true, so they don't have to be perfect. They are imperfectly perfect.
And made with love.
Yes. Heat a large frying pan and add a good drizzle of extra virgin olive oil along with a small amount of butter. When hot, add the polpette to the pan and fry them for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side, turning them occasionally to ensure they brown evenly on all sides. Place them in a plate lined with paper towels to drain any excess oil. In a separate small saucepan, add the blue cheese and a splash of cream. Heat while stirring occasionally to help the cheese melt and blend with the cream until you get a smooth, creamy sauce. Arrange the cooked polpette on a serving plate and drizzle the warm blue cheese over the top. If you like, garnish with freshly chopped parsley to add a pop of color and freshness to the dish. Serve immediately while the polpette are still warm. And then for the crostini. Cut the washed pears in half lengthwise, core, and slice each pear half into thin, even slices. In a medium-sized saucepan, add the butter and sugar. Heat the pan over medium heat, stirring occasionally to combine the butter and sugar. The sugar will start to dissolve and melt into the butter, turning into a caramel-like consistency. You want to achieve a light golden brown color. Then add the sliced pears to the pan. As the pears cook, they will release their juices, which will gradually dissolve into the hardened caramel. Cook for about 5 to 7 minutes or until the pears are tender and coated with caramel. Then slice the bread. In Tuscany, it is traditional to use saltless bread, which has a mild flavor. But ciabatta-style bread will also work. Lay the bread slices on a baking sheet. Place a few slices of the caramelized pears on each piece of bread. Next, take the blue cheese and slice it into small pieces. Place a few pieces of blue cheese on top of the caramelized pears on each bread slice. Bake for about 5 to 7 minutes until the blue cheese has melted and the bread is slightly crispy on the edges. So Do you know this bottle?
Yes, I do. La Calcinaia.
Exactly, they're your neighbors.
Yes.
So we're having this Chianti Classico from Villa Calcinaia from Greve in Chianti. Our good friend Sebastiano makes this wine. We go there on our wine tours. We love his wine, it's organic. So in addition to the polpette, we also decided to make caramelized pears and blue cheese crostini. You will find crostini and crostoni of various types on many Tuscan menus. They refer to the typical Tuscan saltless bread, sliced, toasted, and topped with various toppings. I adore the ones with cheese. And if you're curious, you can taste an array of cheesy crostoni at Formaggioteca Terroir in Florence. Remember, life is grape, cheese makes it better. Thanks so much for watching along with us. You will find the recipe in the comments below. Remember that you can take a wine tour in Tuscany with grape tours, and you can taste our cheeses in Florence at Formaggioteca Terroir. Please subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, so we'll see you soon back here at Camposasso for a new recipe.